From the fly to the eye, nerds like a lot of things, but there's something they love above all else, and that is correcting people. This is a very special horror episode of Actually. Joining us today, we have Betsy Sodaro.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm so scared to be here.
Ooh. We also have Mark Rennie.
Hello. Yes, I'm here.
And we have Oscar Montoya.
Hi! I'm excited to be here. I'm not sure about Mark, though. I'm not sure Mark is excited to be here.
I'm spiraling already.
Mark, you're joining us for the first time, but the rules are very simple. I have here a stack of statements. These are incorrect statements about horror movies, horror books, horror comics, horror video games, anything in the horror realm. It's up to you to find what I've said that's incorrect, buzz in and correct me. There's only two rules. All your corrections must be preceded with the phrase, actually. If you don't say it, I won't give you the point. And you can interrupt me whenever you want. As soon as you hear what's wrong, just jump right in there and do it. Here we go. First statement. Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House is a classic literary ghost story that has been adapted into a TV series of the same name and two different movies, House on Haunted Hill in 1959 and The Haunting in 1963, both of which were remade in 1999. Mark has buzzed in.
Actually, it wasn't made into the House on Haunted Hill. It was made into like the 60s version of The Haunting, which was then remade in the 90s as The Haunting.
Yes, you've, I have a very confusing word of questions. You've answered it correctly, also in a confusing way. But yes, you are correct.
Okay.
I said that House on Haunted Hill was an adaptation of The Haunting of Hill House. It is not. It's just a very similar sounding name. House on Haunted Hill was adapted into The Haunting. God, it's so confusing. The long and short of it is House on Haunted Hill is not based on The Haunting of Hill House, even though they have very similar names.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
And then we got Hell House.
Yes.
Is that The Haunting?
So Hell House is an adaptation of Legend of Hell House, which has many similar features to The Haunting of Hill House. Like they're very similar, but they're technically different properties. There's so many, like Hell and Hill and Haunting. It's just like you throw it all in a big blender. It's like, what's going on here? What are we doing?
Which one's the one where the cat attacks the lady, huh? Remember that?
Take your pick. I mean,
that's like every horror movie.
Yeah.
Betsy.
It's from one of those hauntings.
The only thing I remember from the end of the 90s Haunting is like Lily Taylor screaming, "It's about family!" And it's like very funny.
So, honestly, The Haunting, a lot of people will hate on The Haunting, but it's a good movie, okay?
Oscar,
Owen Wilson.
Oscar.
Y'all,
Come on.
nah, y'all are. Those little cherubs, the cherubs on the bedpost coming to
That look
life.
scandalized. They just look scandalized. They don't look like scary.
Yeah, they're just
Well, what were they doing on the bed?
That and the other one with Jeffrey Rush is like a roller coaster maker. Remember
That's Haunting of Hill House, I think.
Hill House.
Or not House of Haunted Hill.
The house
God,
on
it's so
Haunted
confusing.
God, it's so
No,
stupid.
wait, what?
Is the one where Jeffrey Rush has Rust.
Rush.
Rust is spookier.
Old metal.
Where he like makes roller coasters.
What?
Yeah. Anyways, my point was they both have way too much CGI, thus are not that scary to me.
True. Honestly, true. But can you blame them? It was the late 90s. They were very excited about CGI.
Right.
Yeah, they had their new toys, and it's like, we don't care if this isn't as scary. It's going to be fun for us.
That was your complaint about Shark Tale, though, Betsy. Too much CGI.
I hated it.
It's not
Way
scary.
too much CGI.
You're not scary.
Yeah.
That point will go to Mark. Apparently, when Shirley Jackson was writing The Haunting of Hill House, I have to keep checking, make sure I'm saying the right thing. She was like looking through a design magazine and like saw a picture of this house that was like, ooh, this house looks creepy as hell. And then later found out that her own great-great-grandfather was the architect who designed that house. Just happened to stumble on it.
Doesn't that just make you believe in God, though?
I thought you were going to say ghosts. It's so funny.
Wow.
You went with
That was a
God.
leap.
Well, we will move on to our second statement here. Candyman is based on the Clive Barker short story, The Forbidden. While the original story doesn't provide the character's birth name, race, and backstory, it is the origin for the character's iconic hook hand, bee motif, and ability to be summoned by saying his name 5 times while looking in a mirror. Oscar has buzzed in.
Actually, you say his name 3 times in the mirror to summon him.
Oh, shit.
I think
dude.
Bloody Mary is 3 times and Candyman is 5. But we'll have Jessica check me just to be sure.
It's like the first thing that you look up when it says how many times. It says, do you say Candyman in the mirror? Oh, no, it says 5. It says 5. It says 5.
5 does seem excessive. It's 5.
Wow.
Because it lets you like get scared and be like, do I really want to around 3? And then if you really want to, you go for it, or you can bail.
Mark, you've buzzed in. Do you have an answer for us?
Yeah, I will say, actually, the short story, The Forbidden, does reveal his name, age, and race.
Incorrect. No,
Okay,
it's
it was worth a
very
shot.
scant on Candyman specifics, especially because that's such a big part of his character in the movie. Betsy.
Actually, The Forbidden is not about Candyman at all.
Oh, just a completely different thing. That is.
What's it about? Betsy?
You know,
I can't tell you it's forbidden.
It's duh.
The
If you
adult
read
section
it,
of the
you
video
would know.
store? Yeah.
No one's allowed back there.
There's a beaded
Underwear
curtain.
section, man.
I saw my mailman in the adult section of the video store once, and I was scandalized.
That is.
I hope you wash your hands when you drop off my Rolling Stone.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to go ahead and call it the saying his name in the mirror, not a part of the original character in the short story, which is like
boy.
such a such a like.
Then how do you get Candyman to come?
Yeah, write a letter.
I might like this better. The idea is that Candyman shows up he's like a reverse Santa Claus. Like he shows up to people who don't believe in him. Because like his whole thing is like, I gain power from my legend. I gain power from people knowing it be. So like the hard skeptics who are like, Candyman doesn't exist. That's who he shows up to kill, to be like, you're ruining my reputation by saying I don't exist, so I'm going to kill you, and that will keep my legend growing stronger. Also, the bees in that movie were real bees, and including the scene where like Hout holds them in his mouth and like they come out of his mouth. Those are real bees, and I believe he is stipulated in his contract that he would get like a bonus $1,000 every time he was stung or something like that.
Ooh, I'd be chewing those bees. So
I'm gonna buy myself a boat.
Back
His
to
face
one.
gets all swollen like a dog after a dog eats a bee.
No, I got another take in me. We can go. That's commitment to the craft.
See, you hear that? The Haunting and the Haunting of Hill House.
you.
Real bees.
Real bees.
None
You
of
don't need
this-
CGI.
You don't need CGI. You could get little kids to be a headboard in your bed and be scary.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Well, no points for that one, but yeah, that's the Candyman. We're gonna move on to our next statement here. When you want to heighten the horror, why not leave Earth? All of the following horror franchises have an installment that takes place in outer space: Leprechaun, Hellraiser, Friday the 13th, Child's Play, Dracula, and Critters. Oscar's buzzed in.
Actually, Child's Play does not take place in space. Unfortunately, does not have a space supplemental sequel.
Yet.
That is
Yet.
correct. That point goes to Oscar. Yet. There is
Nice.
no Chucky in space, but it feels like there should be.
We got
right?
a cult
It
of
feels like-
Chucky, but we should get a cult of Chucky in space.
Oh, yeah, the cult goes up to space.
Why do you think going to space is such like a place for horror franchises to go?
Well, not only is space is terrifying on its own.
Sure.
Like even if it's just a regular trip to space, this is awful. Like one little thing, this much separates you from instant death.
Yeah, so being up already in a scary place and then with a murderer.
No, thank you.
That's true.
I also think a lot of these, and I'm thinking more of Leprechaun and Friday the 13th because they're very similar, where it feels like somebody wrote a different script, or it was a whole different movie, and then they're like, I think we can plug in Leprechaun, and I think we can plug in Jason. Like, the vibes of both of those space movies are so similar. The Jason one looks nothing like a Jason movie.
Uh-huh.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
When did
Jason
it come
X,
out?
right? Jason X is
Yeah,
the one where he's in space.
Jason
right?
X. Yes.
I do like the idea that there was one like script and they just did like a find replace, you know? It's like cool, great.
Feels like it for sure.
What
Of
if someone
just
like wrote
kinda-
like a very personal script, like this is about my family escaping like war-torn
Yeah.
Europe and like we're gonna add Chucky to it.
We're adding Chucky and we're putting it in space, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're gonna say based on a true story at the beginning.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that point will go to Oscar. We'll move on to
Nice.
our next statement here. This is a fan-submitted question. This comes to us from one of our viewers. And this one comes to us from @Doug. So thank you, Doug, for this question. Double your horror with horror movie crossovers. Some pairs of horror characters that have appeared together in film include the creatures from Alien and Predator, Frankenstein's monster and Dracula, Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees, the Lake Placid Crocodile and Anaconda, Puppet Master and Demonic Toys, and the Ring's Samara Morgan with the Grudge's Kayako Seki. Oscar and Mark, and then Betsy. So Oscar first.
Actually, and this saddens me to say, and I might be wrong, but and if I'm wrong, I'm very excited that it's wrong. But the Lake Placid crocodile and the anaconda snake did not meet.
Now, according to Doug, that is not true. There is a movie where there is a Lake Placid Anaconda crossover.
What?
Jessica can check to find out what that is.
I bet it's on Amazon Prime.
And just on
Yes.
Amazon Prime, I bet.
I bet,
They
or
pay
it's
you
like a
to watch it.
sci-fi original
Oh
spin-off. Yeah.
I think it might be
God.
like a sci-fi channel.
I think it's on
like-
Amazon for $2.99. You could probably find it somewhere for free though. But it's called Lake Placid versus the Anaconda.
Wow.
Like it's what it says.
Well, you got your plans for tonight. Unfortunately,
Today
you don't
has
get a
been
point.
a cultural reset
I
for me.
think Jennifer Lopez and Betty White are both in it.
There's the crossover we're waiting for.
Yes.
But Betty White plays the Jennifer Lopez character, and Jennifer Lopez plays
Ooh.
the Betty White character.
Fine.
That was their choice. Like they both were like, let's do it, but let's really switch roles.
And not tell anyone, and no one knows.
Yes.
Mark, you buzzed in next. Do you have a guess?
Well, actually, I would say the creature from the original Alien movie, when you're saying the creature from Alien, not the Alien franchise, has never been against Predator.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
So the way
wow,
that is worded, it says the
semantics.
creature
Okay.
from Alien. You're not saying the xenomorph.
that's
Xenomorph
very
is
interesting.
the
Oh,
Predator.
shit, Mark.
If you want to talk semantics, and if we're going to talk semantics, I believe this is the platform to do it.
I might award you the point for that. Now, it's phrased this way to try to get like the titles of the movies in there as much as possible. And like saying xenomorph is like, it's like, okay, like you'll know what I'm talking about, but it's nice to get those titles. But
Sure.
you are correct that that specific xenomorph does not appear
Does
in
not
the
mean a
Predator.
predator.
And also the actual answer here is equally as pedantic. So I feel like I'll give you the point for that. Sure. Mark, you'll get a point for that one. Breaking the game, but really in the spirit of it. So yeah, we'll say it.
Thank
I'll go
you.
ahead and I'll reveal the right answer because
Wait,
and again, part of
give me
oh,
a
yeah,
shot.
Betsy, take
Let
it.
Betsy
Take your shot.
try.
Come on, let me try. The Ring Girl and the Grudge Girl. No way, Jose. It is a movie?
It is.
But Betsy, that is actually the answer we're looking for due to pedantic shenanigans here. Very similar to Mark's answer in a lot of ways, because what we listed here was the Ring Samara Morgan with the Grudge's Kayako Seki. Samara Morgan was the name of the girl in the American adaptation of The Ring, but in the Japanese version, she is Sadako Yamamura. It's Sadako and Kayako Seki who do crossover, but Samaro and Kayako do not. So very tricky, very specific. In a way, Mark's answer's in the same realm of like that specific monster from that movie didn't. Because of that, I'm gonna give you the point. But Betsy, yes, that is correct.
Nice.
Wait, I gotta see this crossover.
Yeah, it is Sadako versus Kayako, which is
I think
the
it's
film.
on Shudder.
They're
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It was
watch
released
it.
a couple of years ago, I want to say.
I think the premise is that they're like pitted against each other when the same person gets cursed by both at the same time, which is like
what
you
are
have
the
to be the
odds?
unluckiest person in the world to be like, oh come on, man, don't go to that house, don't watch that movie. Like have some self-restraint, please.
Oh, of course, the video's in the house. Whoa. Wasn't there like a video of the ring girl like at a baseball game throwing the first pitch? Have y'all seen this?
No.
Yes, no, I have. Yeah, it's like, hair in front of her, white shift. And then like on the pitcher's mound, just like, it's like such a weird matchup of like horrifying and like fun baseball time. There's some baseball player who's like, I watched that video, shit, she's coming for me. Like, just convinced that this is his moment. Like, no, I gotta go.
We gotta get out of here.
Well, this will bring us to our first shiny question of the game. Shiny questions, like shiny Pokemon, are worth the same number of points. They're just a little bit different and a little bit rarer. This is a game I'm calling Tag You're It. Just a moment, I'm going to show you 6 movie taglines, and I want you to identify the movie from just the tagline. Whoever can identify the most will get the 1 point for this shiny question. All right, let's look at that first tagline. To avoid fainting, keep repeating, it's only a movie. It's only a movie.
I know this.
Oscar is certain.
I definitely. I even remember the guy's voice. It was like deep and serious.
Betsy has buzzed in.
Is it The Exorcist?
It is not The Exorcist.
Damn it!
Mark, was that your guess too?
Yeah, but can I have another one?
Yes, totally.
I don't have to. I'll say The Shining.
It's not The Shining. Oscar, do you know?
I might be wrong here, but I think it might be The Last House on the Left.
It is The Last House on the Left. Yes.
Yes!
That is correct.
Oscar!
Oh my! I knew it. I knew it.
Mark and I didn't know that because we're not sickos.
Yeah. We're not creeps.
Well, let's take a look at our second tagline. In space, no one can eat ice cream.
No.
Mark has buzzed in first.
Let's say Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
It is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Yes.
I knew it! I'm looking at a piece of art right now of Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Literally,
in front
Betsy,
of my... Yes.
I am facing my Killer Clowns from Outer Space poster right now.
Oh my God,
Mark
Oscar.
scooping both of you.
Well, the tagline on my little piece of art is just it's crazy.
Mine says, they have a sweet tooth for you.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
Wow,
so,
they had like a whole.
God.
They must have brought in someone to be like, come up with 100 of these.
Oh,
Let's just roll
Dude.
through it.
They were like, fine, easy.
It's Crazy was also the tagline for Nomadland, I believe.
My Mark.
Mark.
Let's take a look at number 3, a third tagline here. The only thing more terrifying than the last 12 minutes of this film are the first 92. Betsy's buzzed in.
Is it The Exorcist?
It's not The Exorcist.
Damn it. It's too
Mark.
scary.
Psycho?
No. Good guess. Oscar.
Is this Rosemary's Baby?
No, it's not Rosemary's Baby.
Dang it.
No one got this one.
Good
This was from the
guesses,
1977 Suspiria. The
That movie is so cool.
I love that movie.
Did you like the last 12 minutes or the first 92 better?
Right.
I think I like the first 92.
The first 92.
That's when that lady falls into that room full of razor wire.
Well, where do you keep your razor wire, Betsy?
Yeah.
I know, in my office. My office is full of it, but
Some people have a gift wrapping suite. Some people have rooms full of razor wire.
Let's take a look at our next tagline here.
Cool.
Ding dong, you're dead. Mark has buzzed in.
House?
That's House. Yep,
Yeah.
that is House.
Mark.
It's really good. Very
That's
good.
a good one.
That's a fun, weird movie. It's great.
Weird horror movie.
Oscar, you've gotten 1. Mark, you've gotten 2. Let's take a look at our next one. Man is the warmest place to hide. Mark beat Betsy.
No, this is bullshit, dude. This is bullshit, man.
Mark
I
is the
buzzed
fastest
so
buzzer.
fast.
I mean,
I believe
I don't
it's
know what you've been
cheating.
doing, Mark.
the thing?
That
Yes.
is the thing. That is
my
the
This
thing.
is dog shit. I think my buzzer's broken.
Mark, you don't
man.
need any more points. Is the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This is all I have. Let me have.
Mark has pretty much clinched this one, but we got one more left. Here's our last tagline. Here they grow again. Betsy.
Oh no. Oh, what is Gremlins 2?
This is Gremlins, the new batch. Yes.
I like that you
is
answered it as like a
What
Jeopardy
is-
question.
I know, Jeopardy
Yeah.
style. What is Gremlins? Oscar and Betsy, you both identified 1. Mark, you identified 3. That means you're taking that point for this shiny question.
The villain
Okay,
episode.
okay.
Boo.
All right. Now I know how Samara feels.
Well, this will take us, we'll move right back. These are back to our regular old actually questions, so remember to say actually before your answers. In the movie Hereditary, we eventually learn that Annie's deceased mother, Ellen, belonged to a cult devoted to the demon Pazuzu, who at various points in the movie inhabits Annie, her daughter Charlie, and her son Peter. Betsy's buzzed in.
Actually, it's not the demon Pazuzu.
That is correct. You don't. I'll give you the point, but can you be more specific?
Oh shit! It is a P word. It does start with a P. Prince
I'll give you.
What do you eat on July 4th? What do you eat on July 4th?
pie.
And then
Do I eat pie? I don't eat pie. That's just a P word. Pie.
Oscar's totally leading you down the right track. I love how
Yeah.
you're second guessing yourself. It's like I would never
Okay,
eat
so
pie on July
pie. I
4th.
don't eat pie, but thank you, pie.
And then the second syllable is like
You're a beach dude. Like, hey, man. Oops, I said it.
It's not the word, Mark. Boo.
Paimon.
This is just-
Paimon.
Yeah.
Paimon.
It's Paimon. I love that this turned into a completely different game show. It turned into like Pyramid for a while. Paimon is the demon in Hereditary.
Paimon.
Pazuzu is the demon from The Exorcist. So is a named demon there. It looks like Mark. I saw Mark kind of being like, I know this.
And
but
the
Betsy will get
Noid
that point.
is the pizza demon.
Ooh, yes.
True.
We love him.
Domino's.
We love him.
And the Noid is back.
No, you should avoid
He's
the
back.
Noid.
He's officially back?
Noid is back.
Officially,
Wow.
he's
I
back.
saw a commercial.
The mark of Paimon is visible on the telephone pole that kills Charlie in that movie. If you go back and look at it, fun little tiny Easter egg. Well, that point will go to Betsy. Mark with 3, Oscar and Betsy each with 1.
Nice, dude.
Yes.
Nice.
Here's our next statement. Universal's 1931 adaptation of Frankenstein is markedly different from the Mary Shelley book it was based on, but it's also responsible for many details of Frankenstein in the popular imagination. The film originated Frankenstein's hunchbacked assistant Igor, as well as the creature's neck bolts and damaged brain. Mark has buzzed it.
Actually, it didn't come out in 1931. It came out in 1930. I'll shut up.
The date is right. I try not to fuck with the dates too much. It's just too boring. That it is the 1931 movie. Oscar and Betsy.
Actually,
Yes.
Frankenstein's monster
Mhm.
didn't have the neck bolts in the movie.
He does. Yeah. There are. That's that classic bolt
I
that
know.
comes from
Yeah.
that movie. Yeah.
He's
Betsy, do you have an answer?
Bolts. Well, I was gonna say the bolts are in the book.
The bolts are not in the book. No.
I'm pretty sure I remember a whole chapter.
Can your
Dedicated
researcher
to
read
the
the entire book,
bolts.
please?
Mary Shelley just devotes a whole paragraph to being like, and these dope ass bolts were sticking out of his neck.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
damn.
pretty sure, honestly. I'm pretty sure.
We'll go ahead and call it. Igor is not in the book at all, but also neither is he in the 1931 movie Frankenstein. A character named Igor does not appear anywhere in the Frankenstein lore until the 3rd movie, Son of Frankenstein. And even then, he's not an assistant. He's just like, he's a blacksmith played by Bela Lugosi.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Just
This is
has
some sort of
great-
Mandela effect happening because
This
Betsy,
is
I remember
big
this
time,
as well.
dude.
I
I
remember
had the
Kinda
same
like how
thing
the-
when I was reading this. I was like, no way. That doesn't
Right.
make. It's like, why are we all like? Of course he has a hunchbacked assistant named Igor, and it's nowhere to be found in either of these early things. It's crazy, but no, he's not in the movie at all, nor is he in the book. Very
I
strange.
don't know if I could keep going.
I gotta take in this Igor knowledge. Well, no points for that one, but we all learned some fun facts about Igor.
Wow.
Here's our next statement. Ed and Lorraine Warren were a pair of real-life paranormal investigators who are depicted as the characters in The Conjuring. Their case files form the basis of the interconnected movies of the Conjuring universe, which, as of this taping, is composed of 2 The Conjuring movies, 3 Annabelle movies, and The Nun. Oh, Marcus buzzed in.
Actually, it also includes La Llorona.
That is correct. I left out the Curse of La Llorona, which is part of the Conjuring universe.
Whoa, I saw that movie.
Yeah, there's a shared priest. You know how they go. There's a shared, they're always moving them around from parishes to parish. Well, now they're moving around from movie to movie.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God. I walked out of that movie.
You walked out of La Llorona?
Hell yeah. It's terrible.
It's bad.
I saw it in theaters. Yeah, I wasn't pumped, but I watched it all, man.
If you don't consider Godzilla a horror franchise, which I don't really, it's a monster movie, I think, but arguments, either way, if you don't consider it a horror franchise, the Conjuring universe is the highest grossing horror franchise of all time.
Wow.
And by the time this airs, there will likely also be 2 more movies in the Conjuring universe. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and another Nun movie, I think are both slated to come out by Halloween. Another The Nun.
No, I am no fan of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the real people. I think they're charlatan con artists. I think they are.
Mark hates
crooked.
them.
Don't
Get
get
on
me
that
started.
pedestal. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
I'll stop.
Listen, they made an appearance on the first ever season of the Real World Road Rules Challenge. So
really?
they're good people.
So you know they are
Everyone on the
legit.
Real World Road Rules is a good
Yeah.
person. Well, that point will go to Mark as we move into our next shiny
Mark
question.
Surprise,
is
surprise.
destroying
I'm
us.
sorry.
running away with this.
God.
Gosh.
Mark.
This is a game we're calling A Book by Its Cover. We have 6 movie posters here, but we have removed the titles. We want to see if you can identify the movie from the poster art alone. Whoever can identify the most will get the 1 point. Let's take a look at that first movie poster. What is this movie?
Oh my God. I buzzed in.
Everyone is buzzed in, but Betsy is first.
Alice, sweet Alice? Wait.
That is Alice, Sweet Alice.
Oh
You're
my
right.
gosh.
That
Mark,
is
you and I
correct.
saw this together.
We just watched this like a month ago.
Seriously.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
so incredible.
Betsy will nab that one. Quick on the buzzer
Nice,
this time, Betsy.
Thank
Nice,
you.
Betsy.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at our next movie poster. What movie is this? Oscar is first there with Betsy, very close behind.
That is Chud, my darlings.
That is Chud. That is indeed Chud. Chud is also, you can see it as one of the movies in the opening shot of Us. When they're like pushing it on the like Hands Across America, there's movies on either side, and one of them is Chud, in case you're worried about underground things coming to get you. A little nod to things to come later in the movie. It's
Clever.
It's almost
That's
as if
good.
he planned it that way.
Let's take a look at that next movie. What is this? Oscar.
This is going to be The Hills Have Eyes 2.
That is correct. This is The Hills Have Eyes 2.
Nice.
Let's take a look at our next movie poster. What is this? Oh, Betsy.
It Follows.
That is It Follows.
Woo!
Woo! Everyone's getting faster on their buzzers here. That's 2 for Betsy, 2 for Oscar. And we will move on to our next movie. What movie is this? What is this? Ooh, everyone is buzzed in so fast. That's Oscar first, though.
That is The Stuff.
That is
I
The
love this
Stuff.
movie.
Yeah.
The Stuff.
That song,
Can't get enough of the stuff.
iconic.
One last one here. Let's take a look at that last movie poster. Ooh, everyone again, very fast, but Betsy is first.
Yes, The Descent.
Mhm.
That is The Descent.
Yeah.
And that means that
Betsy.
Woo! That's one where it's like, it's scary to get stuck in caves,
True.
But then let's add some like kind of hunky, nasty monsters who
Wait,
live down there.
Hunky.
They're kind of hunky, nasty.
Betsy, what?
They are shredded.
You gotta start scurrying, bro. If you want gains, you gotta scurry.
You gotta scurry, man.
Well, that means that both Betsy and Oscar identified 3 of these. You both got 3. You tied there, so you're each going to take a point for this shiny. Share that point.
Woo!
Here's our next statement. The Ring is a 2002 horror movie about a cursed VHS tape. Anyone who watches the tape will die 7 days later unless they make a copy and show it to someone else. The film began a trend of American remakes of Japanese horror films, as well as spawning a number of sequels, including the short film Rings and 2 feature-length films, The Ring 2 and Spiral. Everyone has buzzed in, but Betsy is first.
Actually, Spiral is not The Ring.
That is close enough. Depending on how we're phrasing this, Spiral is the name of the sequel to the Japanese version of The Ring, which came out on the same day as The Ring did in Japan. Another tricky, weird Japanese Ring thing that I did here. This wasn't intentional. This sort of wound up that way.
That's interesting, because Betsy, you were thinking of...
I
think you were.
Saw.
I thought so too. It was like, you know what? It's like, I think you're thinking of something different, but this wound up being correct anyway. So I guess we'll take that. Has Samara had to like keep up with technology? You can't even find a VHS player anymore. Like
She can't even work a blow
counts?
dryer.
Look how wet she is all the time. Come on, Samara, get with the times. Betsy will nab that one. And here's our next statement. In the movie Us, we learn that everyone in the world has a doppelganger, or tethered, who lives underground, mindlessly mirroring the actions of those above. Adelaide's tethered is the only one who is able to speak. Betsy is buzzed in.
Actually, her tethered is the one that's on the Earth's surface, man. So she's down there.
That is true. They also do, they both can speak. So it's not untrue when I've said that Adelaide's tethered is able to speak.
True. I'm not gonna lie. As soon as she started talking, I laughed very hard and was immediately taken out of the movie. Like, mind taken out of the movie. I'm just like, oh, shoot. I was scared, and now this is funny.
Did you picture her doing stand-up? Just like showing up to an open mic?
What else?
Politics.
And just bombing?
Yeah. Guys, you ever notice how weird rabbit tastes? Everyone's like, no, not really. We can't relate to this.
Right. Okay. Airplanes. Tell me what they are.
Oh, you can't make jokes about anything these days. Mark.
Actually, they aren't mindlessly walking around duplicating you?
That's not what we're going for.
Okay,
We'll probably be arguing the meaning of the word mindlessly a little too much there. They don't
enough.
really have a lot of control over it. Oscar, do you want to venture a guess?
Actually, not everyone has a tether.
You're close to what I'm getting at here. We'll give you the point there, Oscar. That you at least identified that not everyone has a tether. I said everyone in the world has a doppelganger or tethered, but it's not true. In fact, it's later explained that this is specifically a program that was developed by the U.S. government. So those tethers, that's U.S. born and bred, baby.
Wow.
What if you were born in a different country and then came to this country, but you're still an American citizen?
It's an extremely good question. There's some whole department that's like just like monitoring immigration, being like, okay, we got to get another tethered for these 200 people.
Are like, okay.
As people are like taking the citizenship test, like swearing like allegiance to the country, and it's like, okay, we got to get it tethered in there. We are moving into our last shiny question here. Last shiny question. This is a game called What's Wrong with This Picture? In this game, we've taken an image and we've altered it in some way. It's up to you to find out what is different, what we've screwed up, what is wrong with the image in front of you. Whoever can identify it will get the point. So let's take a look at that image. Can you figure out what we've altered in this image?
I know where it's from, but what was changed?
Mark, you've buzzed in first.
Damn it, how? What is happening? This is a nasty one.
Yeah, there should be blood in those drinks.
I'm gonna see if Betsy can be more specific because she's acting like she can. Yeah, Betsy, go ahead.
There should only be blood in her boyfriend's drink.
That is
Because
correct.
that nasty lady puts her, like, blood in there.
I couldn't have said it any better. Christian's Christian's drink should be a little redder because the nasty lady put her lady blood in her drink. A little bit redder. We just made it match the others. But yes, if you see this moment, if you're looking carefully, you can see that Christian's drink has been tampered with. That point will go to Betsy for being just a little bit more specific than Mark. And Mark, you've got plenty of points already. In fact, how many points do we have up here? What's the spread looking like? Betsy, Mark with a 4 and Oscar with 3. Very tight, actually. Very tight.
So I cannot relax.
Yeah, in fact, we only have one more question left. This is the last question of the game.
What?
And as always, this question is about real life skills. So not necessarily about horror movies anymore, just something that could be valuable for your everyday life. You know what else is scary? Rip currents. A rip current is a strong, localized water current that rushes away from the beach out to sea and is strongest near the surface of the water. If you notice you're caught in a rip current, you should dive below the surface where the force is weaker and swim at a steady pace against the current until you reach the shore. Mark has buzzed in.
Actually, you should swim parallel to the beach.
That's correct, yes. If you're trying...
What the hell?
What?
I read the signs at the beach.
Wait, that's one of the signs?
I ran out of reading
That's what they
material.
say at the beach?
Yeah.
That's what's written on the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah, rip currents are very strong, and they can just sort of kind of wash you out to sea. And they're so strong, if you get caught in one and you try to swim against it, more likely than not, you're just going to kind of treadmill and then eventually get tired out and drown. So if you're caught in a rip current, you shouldn't swim directly out. You should swim parallel until you escape that like channel of water, or like swim parallel and then out, or swim like diagonally back. I think our final score then is 5 for Mark, 4 for Betsy, 3 for Oscar. Is that right? Very close game, but that makes Mark our winner for this episode.
Wow.
Mark!
That was a lot
A
of fun.
very good showing.
Thank you. It's the most wonderful time of year. It's gay Christmas. Let's all be safe and don't put razors in candy.
But what about
candy
razor
and
wire?
apples.
Can I do that? Can I
Yeah.
put razor wire?
Because
Well,
I've
I have a
got a
whole
whole room full of razor wire that I needs to do something with it. With that, let's roll out here. Thank you so much for playing with us today. Thank you for watching. Join us next time for even more pedantic corrections right here on Actually.